The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
The aftermath of every social revolution brings about change, cultural norms, and landmarks as our minds and hearts expand beyond the familiar. To everything, there is a season and a time to every purpose in the land of the living. This is our time to renew, revive, and restore the hope lost to the busyness of life. This is our time to dig again and rebuild from the storms of our past on a solid footing that holds. Welcome to The Foundation.
The Foundation.
The Foundation with Hart Grant is brought to you by Alive, Baja Retreat and Spa, Burger King, Commonwealth Bank, Commonwealth Building Supplies, Everybody Wins, Grand Bahama News, Kelly's Home Center, Marco's Pizza, Prince Masters, and Rod's Electric Motors.
The Foundation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant in your company. The Foundation live and in full effect December 18th. Out there, just a few days away from Christmas Day. And the revelation that you didn't get nothing. Praise God. You spent all your money and tried to be able to not be on the naughty list at the last minute. It didn't work. You still ain't get nothing. It's a beautiful day to be in your company, guys. Here, being able to jump and chop the thing down. I'm grateful to be here to do this. Got to shout out my good, decent people over at AFS Insurance Agents and Brokers. Don't go into 2025 uninsured, man. Find yourself in the good position that you can be able to move towards growth and development and securing yourself and your family all of your possessions. While you're here in the land of the living, you want to be able to do that, reach out to my good guys over at AFS Insurance Agents and Brokers. They got everything available for you. 3411 AFS, 3411 AFS, residential, commercial, anything to that effect. They can be able to assist you in that particular area. Number 407 Blue Hill Road South. They can take care of you. Ethric Bow or my guy, Mr. Richardson. They can be able to accommodate you accordingly in that particular space. Make sure you pick up your Guardian newspaper. The region faces rising premature death. This is heavy. And the World Bank warns on non-communicable diseases. Government meets with unions over bi-monthly salary fares. And then the Frenchman who went missing in Exuma waters was found dead. Legendary entertainer John Peanut Taylor dies at 89. And Trump nominates Herschel Walker ambassador to the Bahamas. This is exciting stuff. We're going to be able to have a good conversation. Good Fred in the studio with me today, as we normally do at this time on Wednesdays. My guy, Garth Roseborough. Garth, say good afternoon to the people out there.
Well, Howard, it's a great afternoon. There's a lot happening. I'm glad to be here. Your boy was in a hit-and-run accident yesterday. They ran, but the camera was able to catch the license plate number and the faces of those individuals. Mm-hmm. But I want the motorists, Howard, that are listening to your show right now on 96.9 FM to just be cautious, be careful. Even though, we're excellent drivers, but everyone is not in a position to drive properly. Mm-hmm. Some people are intoxicated. Some are using other vices. And a lot of people are not paying attention. A lot of people are in their phones while they're driving, Howard, texting and looking at social media.
Or intoxicated.
Yeah, I said intoxicated earlier. Yeah.
They went up.
Yeah, so the social media.
It's Christmas time.
Get these little videos and audios and family saying Merry Christmas and all type of crazy stuff in that phone. So just drive carefully. As a matter of fact, Howard, did you see the Autobahn between your house, everyone else's house, and Marathon? Every car on Saturday seemed to be heading towards Marathon.
Really?
Traffic was
What's going on
Marathon? That's where the mall is. That's where the shopping is.
You say, yeah. I booked out on Saturday.
Oh, it was.
Even my son, Gabriel.
Yeah.
Daddy, are we going to the mall?
Okay.
For what? What's in the mall?
And
I want to go to the mall.
And we've been crying broke all year, right? So when I saw those people going to the mall, I said, Jesus, Lord, the rent, we ain't getting that. I mean, I just became negative all of a sudden. I should not have been. I should have been positive. But I'm like, my God, where do people find all this money from? Because they were just, I mean, in a hurry, all the Nissan Notes, the Cubes, the little Suzuki Swift, everybody was heading to the mall.
There has been significant deprivation for an entire year, maybe even for longer than that. And I feel good when people could be able to spend $2 and take care of the kids, because this is essentially for the kids.
That's what it's for.
Yeah, that's what the season's for. The scene for us.
Well, according to the
Yeah, I ain't getting it.
former commission, the kids that you're all bringing out, you're all just a bunch of demons. I don't know if you give demons gifts, because I mean, I think it's a part of the problem. I think someone had mentioned...
Don't give the demons gifts.
No, man. I think a lot of these children were created around 1992.
Also, this is the era. That's the era.
We just came into the drug era. So remember now things like Jordan, Air Jordans and gold chain, man. You got to dress your children up sharp. Clocks, remember clocks? You got to have a pair of clocks, eye stitch and all the rest of that stuff. So your children's going to school looking good, but dumb as grits. The parents dumb, the children dumb, and now the great-grandchildren coming out dumb. But we still rewarding these children. I think we have to find a way to educate parents on proper parenting practices.
Education isn't the goal in this society, though.
It has to be, because that's
You want it to be, but it's not.
That's the only way we can turn this thing
The
around.
goal is acquisition. The goal is things. The goal is not education. You don't need education to get things. You just need to get things.
But since you're such a Bible scholar, I can put it to you in this way. When you follow after idols, I'll let you finish the statement.
No, I mean, we know
When
this.
you follow after idols, I'll let you finish the statement.
No, but I'm
if
saying-
you're following idols. Things.
Yes.
Okay, then what you think will happen to the nation?
They can fall
You fall away from who?
from God.
And what happens when you fall away from God? You what? You
Perish.
Suffer. Yeah, you suffer. That's what's happening in the Bahamas. This God-fearing nation has forgotten who God is. They've substituted their God for things. That's what it is.
But that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know why we hoot and holler about anything else. This is just what it is. We are a nation who's not concerned about education, who's not concerned about any acquisition. We need things. And maybe that crack era, maybe the post-crack epidemic
Yes.
that was in this country, maybe that kind of an idea where you only live once entered in right after they was able to stabilize HIV and AIDS during this particular era. You understand? Maybe the penicillin era and the introduction of penicillin after all of my uncles and this and that and all of them would have had a little claps or so forth and so on, and they feel revitalized and they realize that they could pursue more and more pleasure for themselves. Maybe that did it for you. Yeah, because you was never concerned about God. When calamity met you, you said, "Oh Lord, if I get over this," just like that hard when you get mashed right down that weekend from drinking the first time. I remember one time I can tell you a little story, very quick story. First time I start to taste rum. Now I remember I'm Anglican now. I grew up Anglican, right? So I was not unfamiliar with a little taste in the house. Grammy say, a little for the stomach's sake, right? Which was a bottle of Colorasi, right? The size of this table, right? So,
yeah?
Yeah, what you mean, right? So we Anglicans. So we had a little wine, right? And nothing too heavy and crazy, but it was available, right? My uncle had this party, right? My uncle, all of us in one yard. He had this party one year. I had to have been about 18, 19 years old, and I just wanted to taste the various rums. He had maybe about 14 different bottles of rum on the table, because this was a party for, outsiders and everybody to come in to the party. So for the first time, we had this kind of access, unabated access to all this rum. And now I'm 18, right? And no, I was 19, right? Because I had a girlfriend by this time. And so I took one shot of every single bottle of rum on that table, just a shot. One shot of 14 different types of rum was in me. I was so wet. Oh my God, my head was pounding. I can't remember certain things would happen. My cousins was telling me, don't say something, and I was mash up. And I promise I ain't gonna never drink no more.
And you haven't? A little touch.
No, I didn't until the next weekend.
Yeah, a little touch.
Until the next weekend. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
This is where we are in this country. When we meet tribulation, when we meet calamity, when we meet disaster, when we meet trials, significant, and we go back to our Father and we say, God, if you get me out of this, I will never do this again. Until the next time.
And I'm reminded, even before you made your statement of Hurricane Dorian, and my heart still goes out to those families that are still affected. I think we've forgotten to continue to pray for these people that have missed lost ones and people have lost possessions. But Howard, when you first heard about what's that?
The phone.
Oh, when you first heard about Dorian, a Category 5 hurricane that moved just about 1 mile per hour. Was that an act of God or was that just natural disaster? I know at that particular time,
yesterday.
Yeah, we were all we were repentant at that time. We were all like, okay,
I talked about this
maybe
yesterday.
it's punishment for Abaco and Grand Bahama, but that don't really affect us in Nassau. How would we have viewed Hurricane Dorian would have been different for us?
I talked about this yesterday, and I went deep about it. Went deep with it. Was it yesterday or the day before? Either one of the days. I talked about it this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about Samuel chapter 8. And Samuel chapter 8, when the people came to Samuel, and they said to him, hey, listen, Samuel, I want you to go to God and ask him for a king, because your children have gone contrary to your convictions, in so many words, right? They said, your children are not going in your way. And so we need, and Samuel got upset about it. He thought they were rejecting him. And God says, no, they ain't rejecting you, Samuel.
Telling God.
They're rejecting me. They forgot about me, even from the days when I brought them out of Israel, when I brought them out of Egypt, right? And so he says, as I'm reading this and I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, this is a story that mirrors our immediate position. And I listened to Jamie Foxx, and Jamie Foxx says, how could he have a stroke? Remember I told you I watched the thing, right?
I watched it after that. He said, watch it.
I know you was going to watch it, right? He said, how can I have a stroke? I am Jamie Foxx. I don't have no strokes. That's an old man thing. And then he said, after he would have gone through all that, God said to him, do you remember I bless you with the women, I bless you with the money, I bless you with this, and I bless you with that? He said, God, keep on blessing me. And I realized that after I forgot about him, he blessed me with a stroke. And so sometimes when we look at these tribulations and we try to figure out if God has left us entirely, and then we find ourselves in the position where we want to ask him, well, what have you done? Why have you gone against us? So forth and so on. That is an opportunity for us to be able to re-engage in a relationship. I think us as a nation more specifically have forgotten about God.
Well, I'll tell you who I do believe really feels that, and probably that is their prayer. I believe that largely lies within the middle class, the dying middle class.
The middle class is dead in this country.
But this is why they're crying. This is why they're praying. What
they're
I
only
see,
praying to get back to comfort. They're not praying for
well, but
anything else.
it is what it is. But the people who are impoverished, what I've learned from these people is as long as you are suffering with them, they don't have a problem. We doing this together. And that's sad for our country. It's like no one really cares if the country is going to hell in a breadbasket as long as we're doing this together. This is why the hymns can't stand for anything. They can't stand together.
That's the only commonwealth we know in this country.
That's sad.
The commonwealth of suffering.
That's sad.
The commonwealth of tribulation.
And so what is the middle class supposed to do who's found himself?
The middle class is unfamiliar with this because they had comforted and was eating off the fat of the land for a long time.
So what happens now?
What happens now is that they become inundated and overwhelmed with this idea of political patriotism and being able to identify how they could find out to support their party to get back in a position. That's it. That's all they've done. That's all they're doing.
But I don't think the middle class is even voting anymore. I see the middle class is
the middle class is
giving
probably the only people who are even checking for this conversation.
So?
Yeah. The former middle class.
The poor people don't care.
Poor people never, so poor is a mindset. And if that mindset traveled with you, if the mindset traveled with you over the course of generations, and that means that it's endemic in your family, it's a part of your DNA. You are poor in your mindset. No matter what you've exposed to, no matter what you do, no matter what opportunities you are poor.
Okay.
Your thinking is poor.
Okay, so I took you down that road, Howard, because I know you've been just giving compliments of the season to everyone once again. Howard Grant, you use the words poor, middle class is diminishing, they're the only ones who can really get involved at this particular time at the level that you and I are speaking. In 1967, were we poor? We were pretty poor, would you say, as a people? In 1967 to 1973, would you have said that we were poor because we were under the type rule of UBP, colonial Britain at its greatest?
Now, remember, we're talking about a whole country now.
A whole country.
Okay?
Would you
So
say that as a people,
even with the introduction of segregation, there were the whites.
because of
and
segregation, we'd be poor?
there were the blacks.
Right, we'd be poor.
Okay, we as a collective, as a nation,
Yes.
were a thriving, bustling nation. We as a collective, whites, blacks, with the rule of the UBP and finding us in a position of being able to move towards independence, we were a bustling nation. We were a nation active. We were a nation who had the heirs of the monarch to be able to hear, and wealth of nations who understood that it was time for a transition. We collectively, as a nation, were bustling because
Okay.
there's the whites and the
So,
blacks.
so basically,
However,
you're saying we were
the
stable.
blacks in this nation, the blacks in this nation, and I talked about this. You wasn't
I'm-
here. That's
I'm
why.
listening.
This is why I invite you to show you. That's why I tell you come sit with me, because when I talked about it the other day, I said that the hopes and dreams of our grandparents, our great great grandparents, that they couldn't articulate. They couldn't say it out loud what they wanted to learn. They couldn't say, "I want to read. I want dream. I want own." They can't say this out loud. And so these dreams that lived within them seeped into the pores of their children in their wombs. And so they gave birth to Orville Turnquest. They gave birth to Cecil Wallace. They gave birth to Lyndon Pinckney. They gave birth, that generation gave birth to dreamers.
Okay.
And the dreamers' hopes and aspirations was education.
Okay.
They knew at that time the only liberation that they could find was education.
So be back to the word education.
It was education.
Be back to education.
So after they acquired education, somehow they've convinced us that we don't need education.
The ones who became educated.
The ones who were educated, they became gatekeepers and didn't provide that education. They provided an opportunity for us to be able to function. So there's functional opportunities, but not necessarily bustling opportunities that they got. Because when you hear Loftus Roker, God bless his soul, when you hear Loftus Roker speak to us about how he would have gone off with nothing and how he would have pursued education, when you hear Perry Christie talk about education, when you hear Sean McQueenie talk about education, when you hear Franklin Wilson talk about education, when you hear even Craig Flowers talk about education and their pursuit elsewhere to come back here, you don't necessarily hear the second chapter of that. And the second chapter of that is, I did this, this, and this to ensure that we could create an opportunity for other persons to go, acquire, come back. You don't hear that. You hear, my offspring's gone, and I don't know if they're coming back. And I use those particular names because you're familiar with those names, but the idea and the spirit that existed in them, these are the men that built this country. But they didn't pursue education for the second generation. They acquired the education. They got a very clear understanding and doing well, some of them extremely established in this country and sitting at the boards of these particular things, and their children's children don't even live here.
I see your boards are lit up, Howard.
Their children don't even live
I'm
here.
gonna let your guests. I mean, I'm gonna let your listeners talk to you right now because you just dumbfounded me. I mean, I just became overly sensitive and highly disappointed. Highly disappointed.
But you just have to follow all you have to do is follow the stories.
We know this, but I said we don't. I don't want.
We forget these things.
I don't want to be in that confession mode today. I don't want to hear.
You asked me a question.
Yeah, but the reality is
You don't want to know the reality. The reality is that we don't care about education. We don't care about information. We care about entertainment and acquisition. We are pursuing pleasure in this country.
idols.
That's it. We are pursuing what we could be able to see, taste, feel for ourselves. Because why? A great deal of us, what reside in our subconscious is that this is our heaven here.
Okay.
On earth.
So before you take your callers, let me say this then. When you become that selfish to chase after idols, after the things that you desire, what then happens according to the scripture?
The inevitability is death.
the foreigner comes in and takes it. The Philistines and everybody else comes in
No,
and
they
take
don't
over.
care about the land. There's not a care and concern about the land.
I'm saying, why are you
Because
chasing things?
whilst we live in,
the
foreigners come
come
taking our
and
land.
they're going to take it from you. That's what I'm saying to you. And the Bahamians need to know this. I mean, somehow we have to educate them so that they could know this.
You can't. You can't. Because if our forefathers dreamed of a better country and they gave birth to children who pursued that better country and liberated this country, then what did their children give birth to? They wasn't thinking about it no more. They forget about thinking about this country. They thought about themselves. But you know, ahead. Telephone call, go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon, Howard.
Hey, what's happening?
Everything's cool, my brother, and good afternoon to your guest also. Howard, help me out with your guest. Downtown and over the hill, all the clubs that we used to have.
Yeah?
The Silver Slipper,
Yeah?
Zanzibar, Rusty Nail, Charlie. Come on now. Where else?
They're now, I guess.
They relics of your imagination.
No, but they're
Man,
owned
come
by
on, man.
foreigners
You know,
now
don't
selling
name them all.
spirits. They selling spirits.
No, but check it out, right?
Uh-huh.
Talking of selling spirits, think of how many liquor stores there used to be on Bay Street selling spirits.
Yeah.
Why did that get killed out?
Other people are selling it cheaper and faster.
No, because the cruise lines don't allow the
Oh.
the tourists to bring their bottles
Back on
of
board.
liquor to consume on board,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You look at the amount of cruise ships that used to come into Nassau and stay overnight. How many cruise ships stay overnight now?
I like it.
So now the nightclubs
But that's
don't
in the
exist, the liquor
negotiation.
stores don't exist
That's only negotiation, and I haven't heard from you in a little while. You got to call. You got to give me a call.
because these sellouts. Go to the Ministry of Tourism's website right now. You'll only see statistics up to 2021. So they don't even publish what the financial picture is of how we getting swung by the cruise lines, you know.
Because they ain't getting swing. This was the negotiation, a wide-eyed negotiation that men have made for our country.
Weak people.
I agree with you.
Weak people. So now they've reduced Bahamians for what, begging for turkeys?
That's it.
And they take in billions out of the country and throwing back frozen turkeys that they get from on the cheap. And we're
That's
supposed
crazy.
to praise them for that?
That's crazy.
I like it.
Why is it that a Bahamian has to pay $23 to fly out of the Bahamas in departure tax, but a cruise passenger only has to pay $18? Why is it these politicians negotiate that instead of the cruise line having to come bring their people to Nassau, they only have to pay $2 and they can take their cruise passengers to their own private keys? $2. We've settled for $2 instead of a spend at the Zanzibar, the Rusty Nail, Charlie's, all these famous places that people could go in a safe environment.
I like it, Howard. I like it. You got
And the only thing that's changed is the power shifted from the Bay Street boys. And as a single father that's invested heavily in nurturing my kid and investing in her education, I disagree with you, Howard, that we haven't invested in education. We have. But if there's not opportunity here because it's being killed out by a greedy few, then why are these kids that are educated have any incentive or opportunity for coming back?
I didn't mean, and Toby, I appreciate you. I got to go to a commercial break. I want to thank you, man. I haven't heard from you in a little while.
I haven't heard from Toby in a while.
Yeah, Toby, good to hear from you. But the consensus is not individual. The consensus is not me taking my money and investing in my son going to school, in private school and in college now, right? Me taking as an entrepreneur, finding all the money to be able to take care of my son. That's not it. The consensus is that generally this country has taken care of a great deal of these men who have gone off to school in the 60s and 70s. And they've come back here and not poured into our educational system for growth and development for all of those appreciated, those particular persons who are below the working class line. They haven't done it. Quick break. Going to be right back after this.
For fast reliable and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. For any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards, you name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
This holiday season, stay connected to the ones you love with Alive. Switch today and get 5 gigabytes of data free with your first 30-day plan. Whether you're sharing holiday moments or enjoying Junkanoo Bay, Alive keeps you connected all season long. Visit BeAlive.com to make the switch today. It's good to be alive.
The all-new CBSBahamas.com is faster, smarter, and we've made it even easier to browse our inventory of over 11,000 products. Earn reward points with every online purchase. Check out our new AI-powered chat assistant, available 24/7. You can even select a date and time for items to be delivered to your house, job site, or the mailboat. Our Family Island customers are loving it. Build beautiful throughout the Bahamas with the new CBSBahamas.com.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, the Foundation live and in full effect. Let me go right straight to the phone lines. Call on the line, go ahead. Call on the line, go ahead.
Hey, Howard.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, God. Listen, that previous caller you all had on, hit it right on the head.
Mm-hmm.
The few who were educated by our government after the UVP took over, they have essentially taken over the Bahamas, and they are now the 1% of the Bahamas who don't allow anybody else to gain from anything in this country. If you look around, all the businesses are owned by a few families.
Hold on now. Let's say this. I don't believe that they won't allow anyone else to gain. I do believe you have to go through them.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Yeah, as I said, I don't believe that they don't want anyone else to gain. I do believe that if you seek to gain, you have to go through them because they are the monopoly.
They're the gatekeepers.
They're the gatekeepers. Mm-hmm. And if you want this, okay, let's take Sabas. Just seeing a popular conversation I have on the radio, but let's take Sabas. You remember in the vision speech when former Prime Minister Lyndon Pinnon would actually say that he wants to be able to create make thousands of millionaires in the country, so forth. Okay, so some men became millionaires based upon proximity to government. Mm-hmm. Okay? Proximity to government is relationship. We hear this going way back. This one is this prime minister friend. This one is this prime minister friend. He get all the contracts. This one get the contracts. We've heard this for a long time. This new industry popped up. An industry that we've identified as an underground industry for years in this country, going all the way back pre-1964. This industry that existed underground in this country. For the most part, this industry, this numbers industry, fed a great deal of people who were impoverished. Okay?
Yes,
this in ASU. This used to feed a lot of people who was impoverished. Okay, now, boom. An era changes. Craig Flowers has an opportunity to be able to come back. They bring new technology, new concepts. They present this. They say, this is what the world's doing. Boom, 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 all these particular things. They formalized the industry. After formalization of the industry, they have actually allowed the industry essentially to govern itself.
To govern itself, correct.
To govern itself.
Even though the Bain people said no.
Okay.
Referendum.
We've said no to them.
Correct.
After we said no to them, Obi Wolskom, God bless his soul, stood up in the House of Assembly as he was the head of business in the House of Assembly at that particular time. He says, let the church do the church and let us do what the government does.
We know what's best for you.
We know what's best. Bam! And so they created this industry. They had the gates well shut. And then they opened it up and let Sabas in. You remember?
And others, yeah.
It was only a handful of those that came on this particular line.
But they were all connected. Yes.
When they got in, they shut the gate back. Bam!
No one else could get it.
They weld the gate shut back. Boom. They made modifications. They made legislation. They made all these particular things to ensure that these things are confined to this grouping.
That's it.
And legislation that goes well into the future that indicates that if you want anything to do, if we decide to be able to go to a national lottery, boom, 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 this all have to come through us. This is what happens in this country.
That's correct. And as you say that, it's only a certain group of people who actually gain from these decisions. You understand? They put themselves in these positions so that they can gain from these decisions that they make.
That's it.
And that's what's wrong with our country right now. They're only thinking about themselves instead of the overwhelming majority of the Bahamian citizens. You understand? That's our problem.
And you're all so stupid. You want to get them state funeral too when they dead. Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
But listen, you can't stop that. Their affiliation requires that. We ain't going to reject them in debt. What the issue I have, right? And I really appreciate your telephone call, my brother. Thank you, right? That's a good call, right?
Good call.
So what the issue I have is that you lie to men in their face and you mumble behind their back. You lie to them. You don't have the strength to tell your representative because of proximity, because, well, this one is right here on the station, right here. Many a man called me and they seek to be able to levy constructive criticism. I wouldn't say something negative. It's just constructive criticism. Many a man will call the station and criticisms against a particular minister or a particular member of parliament. They have to give you a preamble. Because first and foremost, they're scared that you know their voice. So they say, well, you know, that's my cousin. And he's my good cousin. And I love him. We grew up together. I know his or her convictions. Boom, 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 boom. But see, once they hit me with the conjunction, you shouldn't have told me none of those things before.
Well, it's the first time I wanted to cry in a long time. You got tears, man. I've been in court last night and I didn't want to cry. And, you know, but I want to cry now.
You ain't got to cry.
I won't cry, man. This is sad news.
Well, this is reality. Me and you meet this year.
Yeah, but I don't like it.
Sir.
I do not like it.
The PLP celebrating 70 years as an organization. 70 years as an organization. The F&M celebrating 50-some years as an organization. If you ain't that old, you have no reason to cry.
I will.
But that ain't mean nothing. You meet this going on. Even though it may have been in its fetal stage, growing and maturing, men was pouring into this every single day. And this corruption that we continue to be able to talk about right now has calcified into a freaking mountain. And it is disturbing. And all of us are content.
I don't like it.
We content though.
I do not like it.
This is a mountain of calamity, tribulation that we have to go through. None of y'all listen to me. The app industry, and then I got to go to news. The app industry, apps. During the pandemic, I have a team and I have my whole team is Bahamian. I told you about my team, my consultancy company, and then I have team. I have guys who have expertise in these particular areas. I have young guys who are in College of the Bahamas with the development, with the coding, with this and that. I put all these people together. We created a team. We created several proposals to go to the government. We presented these particular proposals to the government. I mean, to a room full of people, I presented these things during the pandemic. And as I presented these particular things to the pandemic, during the pandemic, to them to show them how you could be able to be accountable with technology, how you can identify all these particular things. Right after all those particular persons came over from the Mud and Pigeon Peas, I showed them how we could track them and identify these particular. I give them step by step of how we could be able to do this. Now, I'm not saying I'm the only person who did this. There were other companies that I know of that did something similar. The government held off on everything. The minister administration held off on everything to identify they were comfortable with old men. Men that they like to say, I went to school with this one. I went to school with that one. I did this. I did that. Who knows nothing about this technology. To find themselves sitting at the table and then release certain aspects of things to them so they could be able to get it. See, even if you come with new technology, you still have to genuflect and have to bow and kiss the ring of these men because they want a piece of your pie. 78%, and you can keep the rest. Let's just be decent. Quick commercial break, guys. Get to news and be right back after this.
Foundation. The foundation. The foundation.
The Foundation with Howard Grant. We'll be back right after this.
The foundation.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Attention Marco's Pizza lovers in Freeport and to our Cable Beach customers. We have heard you. Marco's $10 carry-out, one large, one topping pizza is now available at all locations. That's right. Whether you live out east, west, central, south, or in Freeport, Marco's has you covered. Call in or order online and pick up in restaurant today. Marco's is getting bigger and better by the moment. This unbeatable...
Rejuvenate. Refresh. Treat yourself. Immerse yourself in total comfort. Pamper yourself. After all, you're worth it. Relax. Rid yourself of all life's stresses. At Baja Retreat Anti-Aging Spa, you will find everything you need to enhance your body and spirit. Call today at 323-6711 and begin your journey to serenity at Baja Retreat Anti-Aging Spa.
Always on the go? Missed the show? You can now listen to Guardian Radio talk shows anytime, anywhere on Spotify and YouTube by searching Guardian Radio 96.9 FM or by entering the name of your favorite onto GuardianTalkRadio.com and clicking on the podcast tab. Guardian Radio, continuing to provide you with fresh news and smart talk anywhere, anytime, all day.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, everybody, from Talking Heads right here on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. See you in the new year.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant in your company, the foundation here. Just some food for thought before we get into the Christmas holiday, before you consume your ham and your turkey, before you find yourself in the position of being able to go out and enjoy your rum cake and so forth and so on. These are the conversations that's going to be able to lead up to that. And so we want to be able to talk with transparency, with honesty, this sort of a vulnerability to find out if the decisions that we've been making, if the positions for a very long time has anything to do with us, or can we continue to levy this at the feet of the government? Because that's what we've done.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. I don't know why I'm in such an asking mood. You know, normally I don't ask a lot of questions, but you got me sensitive today, Howard. And I know you're very familiar with the book Animal Farm from George Orwell, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Farmer Jones is sent off the farm and the pigs take over. The hogs, they take over. And so the UBP is gone and now the hogs are taking over. How do we slaughter these hogs so we can have some new management or new leadership? Or do we continue to allow the farm to turn into a pool of slop? Is that where we are?
That's where we are. The spirit of leadership, the spirit that a leader carries, is invoked throughout the entire organization. Okay? The spirit in which the leader functions, operates, if that's transparency, if that's honesty, if that's tidiness, if this is punctuality, all of this, the entire organization will reflect this spirit of a leader, just like your house. If you're an untidy man and so forth and so on, there's no expectation that as I come to your home, all you can provide me with is an excuse. Oh, child, I didn't know you was coming over. How would I would have cleaned up, my God. But anyway, forgive, push that thing aside. Just walk right over that. This is what's going to happen. If this is your spirit that you carry on a day-to-day basis.
So I did from Christie to now. Start with Perry Christie. What was the spirit?
You can't
of the
start with
body?
Perry Christie.
Okay, start with Pinlin then, since you want to go all the way back. Pinlin, Hubert Ingram.
Learn from Pinlin, you know.
Okay, so give me the spirit. Show me what type of spirit. Give me a sentence of what type of spirit each of these leaders had to present.
So Lyndon Pinlin
Tell me what the house is like.
was a statesman extraordinaire. And in many instances, in many quadrants, you could identify him as a political chameleon. He can adapt.
So his whole house was of the same nature. A.D. Hanna, Loftus Roca.
No.
So what was the spirit of his house then?
The spirit, this is why they had an insurrection, why they had revolt. This is why they had separation, because the introduction of this was transparency, was honesty, was liberation for all. And after they found themselves in leadership, then Lyndon Pinlin decided that some things should shift because he had the power. He had total power in this particular instance. And a lot of men agree with him. And so you found revolt. You found this kind of dissidence and people separating themselves because this was the generation that our great-great-grandparents gave birth to. These were the dreamers. These were the intellectuals, the insightful men that are now sitting at the helm of leadership.
So what was the spirit then when the Free National Movement came into power, the dissidents, the dissident crew?
Hubert Ingram and his particular, oh, you mean the dissident?
Yeah, well, I mean...
They never found victory.
You left one type leader and you say we're going to do our own thing. Why? Because of this lack of transparency and respect.
It was for more than one reason. And a lot of people wouldn't articulate the B side of this tape, right? They only tell you the A side because I keep running because that's all the popular hits on that. Okay? But there's a B side to this. And that's a long play. There's an LP on the next side.
Don't really know about no LP and no tape.
But I mean, you're talking to young people. Old people know what I'm talking about. Okay? There's a B side to this tape. And it's an LP, right? It's long play. And you recognize that men, they wanted to be in Lyndon Pinlin's position. They wanted to be leaders.
Most politicians want to be in their position.
Yeah. So they understood some things very intimately, and they understood some principles. They pursued those principles. The principles said that power, you can't. No one concedes power. You got to take that. They understood that. And this was their effort in being able to pursue that particular power. They proceeded to move towards taking that. And no one man could have taken that power from Lyndon Pinlin. They had to gang up on that. And, and guess what? They were still unsuccessful. They needed a man from his camp who understood intimately how he maneuvered to try to be able to pull him down.
The mentee had to take down the mentor. I got you.
Yeah, because greater works than these you should also do.
So when the mentee took over, was their strength and unity?
There wasn't the same type of leadership. There wasn't a convicted, strong leadership. There was a very clear understanding of a vision to execute, a vision for the most part that was left there by the mentor, the initial mentor. A vision that was left there by Lyndon Pinlin that he may not have necessarily executed, that he may have looked over, but Hubert Ingram picked it up and executed it accordingly.
And then came Perry Clason Christie.
And Perry Christie, I don't even know what I can say about Perry Christie.
You don't know what you can say?
No, I try to be very cool. I like Perry Christie. I think he's articulate. I think he's insightful. I think he's...
And infrastructure and all other conversation. That wasn't good?
No, I think he's articulate, insightful. I think he provides some sort... He rouses your spirit up with the way that he speaks.
Investments.
But I still haven't seen the type of leadership that I wanted, that the country needed in the early 2000s. Let's be honest, okay? The world shifted in 2000. We were afraid in 1999 to roll over to midnight that our computers were all going to crash around the world. We were afraid.
We were made afraid, yes.
And Hubert Ingram, the progressive leader that he was, just retained a second leadership position in 1997. Now, 2 years later, going into 1999, we young people started to look at our leadership in Hubert Ingram and try to figure out whether or not we need another young person to take this country into another era. That's what young people did. I was still in high school. I came out of school in 1999. 1999, I graduated June 1999.
Jeez.
And between June of 1999 through to December 31st, even waited and celebrated this idea. We, the graduating class of 1999, those of us who were sensitive enough to know that some things was happening globally, was calling each other in despair and saying things like, man, we didn't even get a chance to live. You think Jesus is coming by the end of this year? We were already looking at a different type of leadership.
So then you...
And then enrolls another archaic leader, wrapped in tradition, taught by the traditionalists with no incorporation of technological insight and fortitude to move forward.
And what type of strength did Minnis bring?
Minnis brought some commitments to incorporate. He promised to incorporate some things, to pull young people in. You remember these things.
Okay.
He promised to do these things, and he didn't do it.
Because of Dorian and the pandemic?
Because of nothing. I'm not going to make an extended excuse for a conviction and a commitment that the man has made. I'm not going to do that.
He said next time he can take care of the poor.
When's next time going to be? You still waiting on that?
So what about Brave Davis, Philip Brave Davis, the present Prime Minister?
Brave Davis has done a pinch more than Minnis has done.
A pinch more?
Just a pinch. He's incorporated young people. But for the most part, we can see the rejection of what they've done.
A pinch more?
Just a pinch.
So Minnis never left the country. Brave always out the country, but he did a pinch
But I don't know
more.
whether or not that's a measure of a man and leadership. I feel like that's a low level, low bar thinking on how people view the country.
Low bar.
That's not the talk
What
about.
I'm saying is the system responsible for the pinch, or is the person responsible for the pinch? That's what I'm trying to say to you.
The system could never be responsible for the pinch.
No.
If I wield the pen that can shift a system entirely. I sit in a position of authority that can shift the entire system.
More than a pinch is what I'm saying to you.
Yeah, but all we got was a pinch. There's no revolutionary leader that's come out of this country. There's not one. And dare I say Michael Pintart's not one.
I'm listening to you.
This is not an insult to Michael Pintart. Michael Pintart is providing us with the platitudes, with the insight, with the articulation, with the plan, so forth and so on. And that's everything is above board. But there is no revolutionary approach
So what about the revolutionists?
that can be able to trouble the waters of stagnation for young people to even involve themselves.
So where does the revolutionist stand?
This country, the revolutionists live in Chicago. They
No,
live
no,
in.
but Lincoln Ben. Where he stand? He said he's revolutionary.
There's a difference between being a revolutionary and being a radical.
So which one is he?
He's a radical. Not in a bad way. You need a radical. You need somebody to be radical and almost irreverent in their approach to be able to deal with the corruption and to defy that. You need that. But we need revolution. That comes with patience, that comes with poise, that comes with strategy, that comes with approach, that comes with calm, that comes with the ability to be able to pull people in. A revolution is being radical. We've seen radicals come up to the forefront. What Omar Smith and Cassius Stewart did in the House of Assembly, that was radical. It wasn't revolutionary.
What did Shannon Nunn do? Was that radical or just...
That was radical.
Okay, just wondering if it was
Because we've seen
radical.
it before.
Yeah.
When we saw it the very first time, that was revolution. That was a different era, a different time, a different dispensation. They never even called it ceremonial. This here had Jesus in it.
Why, for graduating in 1999, you was something else. How about your phones lit up? Let's get some
Call on the line, go ahead.
Brother Grant.
Hey, what's up?
Boy, I've been on before the news over, but that's your show. I hope you do it a little better in 2025. You were talking about leaders. Sir Lyndon Penland was a leader. I look at a leader as a person who creates leaders. Not a anybody can lead a group of people. Anybody can stand in the front, everybody go behind him, he's the leader. A leader creates leaders. So Lyndon Pinley created leaders like a Hubert Ingram, a Perry Christie, a Bernard Norwich. Leaders. Huh? Hubert Ingram could be considered a leader. He created people like a Michael Pentard. He created people like a.
I don't know if I could go with your logic. I trying to go with your logic.
No,
that
see,
a leader, there's a difference between father and baby daddy.
A lot of difference, yeah. Okay. I can tell you the difference.
A man can reproduce. Reproduction has nothing to do with leadership. It is just a mechanism that we are designed in our DNA.
No, but I'm talking about people who have already lead since him. That's what I'm talking about. Perry Christie led this country.
But that don't have nothing to do. That don't have nothing to do with Lyndon Pinley.
led this country. They came out of Sir Lyndon Pinley's bosom.
That don't have nothing to do with Lyndon Pinley.
Why not? And he taught them.
No, let me tell you why. Because I just said to you, if I could be a baby daddy, if I could be, if there was a difference between a baby daddy and a father, and I could find myself in a position of being a father, and other persons just merely reproduce and never be able to take care of their ilk or their child, so forth and so on, that's the same thing that you see in leadership.
Okay.
That's the same thing that you see in leadership. If you could look at Perry...
But I want to put a little lighter spin on it because of Mr. Godborough's being by the place with the car and thing yesterday. God, what do you think about the Wally boys, the original
God just
Wally
stepped out. He had to run to the truck to get something. I think he left something in the truck. He just ran. I'm sorry about that.
I hope it ain't raining yummy.
Yeah.
Listen to me, Grant Howard.
Mm-hmm.
They had a practice on Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, the last practice, they lock up the Junkanoo Shark and everybody coming to the practice. Even the shark cleaners and everybody coming to the practice. The original Wally boys had nine people to their practice by the sports center. Now, this the group was supposed to be going for points.
Mm-hmm.
In the upcoming parade.
Mm-hmm.
They had 9 people in their practice. When they went up under the Porterski dock with the way forward, the man said they didn't have room in the inn. Hundreds.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't think they should have let that group now go ahead and rush in this? Because I don't see where they can find 201 person to rush Boxing Day. They can't go to Freeport to get nobody because Genesis already get Platinum Night and Classic Dances them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, other place you could go.
Well, I think this goes right back to what you started the conversation off with, this concept and idea of leaders. If people see a leader in Trevor and don't necessarily see that level of leadership in Brian, then they gravitate to where they believe sustainability is.
But power is so serious. Power, you know, power and pride is a sin.
Of course.
Holding Brian there, but he has nothing.
Can't fight him. He has in from a long time, and I appreciate your telephone call. For a long time, he's had this autonomy that was given to him in thought, word, and in deed by the grouping that followed him for a very long time. Now, in my view, there is no formality to the transition. They never put mechanisms in place to ensure that there could be a vote, to ensure that the majority has the rule, but the rule always stood with the minority. And as a result of this is where the revolt comes in. This is nothing new that we've seen in our society. This is something that has been going on for time immemorial. And just keep replaying. Next telephone call. Caller, go ahead.
Fuck with it. Yeah, I see this brush still off of you.
Go ahead, cuz. 52.
Hey, what's going on? But you laughing at me talking my business again?
No, I hear you talking about the brush.
What's going on?
Go ahead, everything cool. What you say?
What's going on?
Everything good?
I write your way, good. You know what it's going on. These people doing these things with furniture during the Christmas time. And
that's all.
But, hey, God
just stepped out. He can be back in 2 seconds.
Yeah, but listen to me, Howard. There's a number of things I want to discuss, right? But the thing is, it really and truly, I like this show because, but you know, I ain't got the lotion, no man. The last call, I kind of lean on your side because, I mean, God created. We shouldn't use the word create because God created us. I don't know about creating no leader.
Mm-hmm.
You might have to develop a leader, but to say create a leader is kind of, you know, I just can't accept that. Let's put it that way, all right?
Right.
I wanted to comment on the cruise industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with God, and you were saying or whatever. I can't remember which one you are, but it is amazing that the visionless, very, very intelligent leaders, right, would be assisting our tourism industry as I relate to all the narratives that are being run before the hour. I mean, as it relates to the cruise ship industry. The government is helping them take business away from us by helping them in all the ways they do. I heard you talk about the departure fees for the tourists versus the
that was Toby calling in saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And so, but as it relates to also, I just wanted to get into you that these narratives about trying to keep the black people poor was never is nothing new. I don't know if you read Sahari Oak's book written by John Marquis or whatever. The book called Blood and Fire, but I read the book years ago. I can't even remember. It doesn't matter. More than decades ago. But in that book, he actually spoke that there was the guy who called and talked about all the nightclubs, the Cat and Fiddle. I remember all of those. The Yellow Boy. I remember all of those. But what I did remember was the Count Shell restaurant, and he said that they had deliberately spread it false narrative that the local ladies had gonorrhea to avoid the Royal Air Force men to stop coming over the hill and mixing with the general population. So these type of concepts is nothing new, Howard. All right, this is just giving an idea how long these things are. And so as it relates to the Constitution and the reason why the government don't teach us it and teach it and want it because they... And so with the last caller who looked like he liked the lotion, right? Perry Priestley was a weak leader. And after all of this leadership, we look collectively at where the country is today, Howard. So you leading me, and we ain't going nowhere. What that mean, Howard? Man, I don't time. Why? I don't need no one to greet me.
We gotta get rid of you. We gotta get rid of you.
Yeah, listen to me now. Why are you? No, I'm not you in particular, right? We're talking in general. We shouldn't be fascinated about the destruction or the elimination of the middle class because Alex Jones was telling you guys about this for over 30 years. But you guys, not you in particular, people were calling him crazy. You see what I'm saying? Now, I can stand here. Yeah, he talked about this in the documentary End Games. And this is you see everything that he said, a guy that was calling crazy, everything that he's predicted is coming true. And so, as it relates to, you talk about the cruise industry, right? We see where we're headed. So all of this, they're always trying to pacify with the numbers. It was there's this socialism that they're kicking in. I don't eat ham and I don't eat turkey. So you understand what I'm saying, Albert? But I'm vexed about the numbers industry too because the numbers industry. I'm not even into if they enrich themselves, even though they say me and the boy some family. But what I'm saying is, we should have a national lottery and stop this conglomerate because we should be able to turn to the newspaper. We should be able to go to the gas station and anywhere and buy a scratch off or a ticket like anybody else. But I don't see what the impediment is. They have railroaded us because those guys have written algorithms. These are postulations on these games, and people you have to spin to win. But I don't see where it's benefiting us. I can't see it. You're just giving out a few. Man, everything cool out. Bless up, yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate your telephone call, 52. Always appreciate that. And that these are the same men who negotiated for the cruise industry, negotiated for fuel, negotiated for BPL, negotiated for BTC, negotiated for any monopoly that we have in this country that, for the most part, has not enriched the body behemoth. And we often find ourselves asking the question, well, who is this benefiting? It ain't benefiting us. Why would you negotiate to ensure that you could benefit an external entity? Why? And it leads us deep down a rabbit hole of speculation to try to figure out if corruption is afoot. Quick break, going to be right back after this.
Foundation.
The Foundation. We'll be back right after this.
It's a special time and you deserve the best. Come into Baja and let's de-stress. We'll pamper you and make you feel safe. Get you a nice spa day.
Contact us at 323-6711 or visit us online at www.baharetreat.com.
Tired of digging through mountains of paper? It's time to go digital with Blue Marlin Archives. Secure your documents for the future with eco-friendly, cutting-edge digitalization services, proudly serving the Bahamas. Access your files securely anytime, anywhere. Clear out the clutter and preserve what's important, whether it's for schools, businesses, or personal use. Blue Marlin's just for you. For a limited time only, enjoy 15% off digitization services. Contact us now on WhatsApp at 1242-821-5004. Blue Marlin Archives, securing your documents for the future.
This Christmas, Fidelity Bank is still the one. With one easy monthly payment, one fantastic way to save, and one chance to win $5,000 in extra cash. Make that move to Fidelity Bank and apply for a personal loan for a chance to win extra cash today. Call 356-7764 for more details.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Everything is bigger and better at Burger King Nassau. When you have a big appetite, BK has a royal deal for you. Get a flame grilled double Big King Jr. or an original chicken sandwich, plus 4 chicken nuggets, small fries, a drink, and a fresh baked cookie for only $9.95, including that. The royal deal was built for a big appetite, and at $9.95, including that, it's a steal of a deal. Go big and enjoy the BK flavors you love with the $9.95 royal deal at Burger King Nassau.
Ho, ho, ho! Get ready for Everybody Wins. You can win a Cybertruck, a split of $50,000, and loads of more cash prizes via Spin the Wheel and the Cash Vault. It all goes down December 27th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the FML lawn. To earn a ticket to win, spend $20 between December 9th and 27th at participating Everybody Wins stores. The more tickets, the more chances to win. It's going to be live DJ, food, prizes, and surprises. It's the Jingle All the Pay grand event with Everybody Wins. Game responsibly.
Rejuvenate, refresh, treat yourself. Immerse yourself in total comfort. Pamper yourself. After all, you're worth it. Relax. Rid yourself of all life stresses. At Baja Retreat Anti-Aging Spa, you will find everything you need to enhance your body and spirit. Call today at 323-6711. and begin your journey to serenity at Baja Retreat Anti-Aging Spa.
Hi, this is Shivago Lang, host of Z Live, wishing you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year from Guardian Radio 96.9 FM.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant and your company. I'm just reading a couple of these texts. Guys, give me a call. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, anywhere from the family violence, 242-300, or 242-300-5720, or you hit me up, 422-4796 on the text line. There's a text that's coming through. It says, please let 52 know that Alex Jones also said that Sandy Hook massacre didn't happen. He should find a different source, right? That was funny to me, right? 99 to now, time for you to get your pension, Howard. I mean, that's good, right? Yeah, I could get my pension. Tell them, give me some, right? Says, hey, Howard, please tell these people there are a lot of listeners who actually enjoy your dialogue and you, quote unquote, talking long. It makes sense and always has humor, especially when Garth is on. So please stop telling you how to run your show. This is a text is coming through. They can't remember it. So times I get to them, they probably can forget it. So, write it down and then we can be able to get to it. But Garth, we talking, Garth. We talking and we just talking. I think we're talking very clear, very transparently, very open and honestly about what's happening in our nation. And like you say, you've been to court last night, you didn't cry.
No way.
You crying now? This is just honest.
I gave you a lot of money last night.
I'm not going to lie.
But I didn't cry. I felt like I was doing something to help some people along the way. But now, when I'm looking at the nation are these people or the gatekeepers prepared to help us as a people? And if the answer is no, we have to cry. I was just reading about the founder of the Black Wall Street in America. And it kind of now makes sense to me that there are those of us who may be stronger than you and I who have the ability to purchase large acreage of land, maybe in one of the family islands, and start a whole new city, a whole new community, a whole new nation, as it were. But I think this has been done in places like Long Island that's independent, Abaco that seemingly was independent. At one point in time, Grand Bahama almost threatened to be somewhat independent. But for some odd reason, there's something in the system that says every time a strong individual attempts to make that happen, we find a reset button in the system and cause everything to crash, and then we have to try and start all over again. I think the monster in this country is huge. It's the hog is extremely greedy. I see no end to their feast. And I think we need someone who's going to be innovative and visionary enough to give some of us who have the ability, like yourself, Howard, an opportunity to point this nation in a different direction. I read about Singapore last night. I'm sure you know about Singapore, where 1 in every 5 individuals are millionaires. Why can't we do that? It's beyond me, Howard Grant.
We can't do that because you have a stinking thinking, and people are greedy. People pursue richness. They pursue richness, and when the richness is unattainable, they settle for contentment. But they will fight you tooth and nail to retain that contentment. The issue that we have in this country and the eradication of the middle class is because whilst there was a significant allegiance to political organizations that only bolstered you, let's be clear about some stuff, okay? We don't do textiles in this country. We don't have no great production in this country. We don't produce nothing. There ain't no bunch of irrigated land that you can be able to produce all these things on. So farming, you ain't making no bunch of money from farming. Technology don't come from here, so you have to be a subsector of technology. Tourism is one of the major industries that we can be able to pull people in, accommodate them, and take their money from them and good them. Even that is not owned by us as the Bahamians. There's no, how can you become a millionaire in this country? How? How did those people who are millionaires in this country, how did they become millionaires in this country?
Okay,
how?
This is what I want to know. And we don't have a problem with anyone becoming a millionaire, right? This is what I am trying to fathom. What is the sense of being a multimillionaire now and wanting more and more and more to the detriment of everybody else? That's what I'm trying to figure. I'm not saying you shouldn't use your wisdom, you shouldn't use your temperament to become more wealthy. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, when are you going to stop the madness of seeking wealth so much that I'm willing to kill my brother, my sister, to decimate the entire society? I want to own every friggin' thing. I don't want you to own nothing, so that when Garth left Adelaide yesterday, I live out west, but I had to go to the courthouse over here off of Nassau Street. And how would I have to drive down through Hospital Lane and bang?
Why she was getting caught?
Jesus Christ. Run right into my car. And the people hit and run. Hit and run. The more you decimate us as a people, the more we got to deal with this type of nonsense. If we could just leave room for everybody to get a little piece of the pie, maybe we wouldn't have so much hit and runs and so forth.
You're answering my question. I asked you a pertinent question. I need you to understand me. How? In a country and an island of nation where we depend upon importation, how does a man become a millionaire here? On what? What elements that produce naturally that he could make modifications to, package it, and present to the population and be sold that all of us need it so bad that he becomes a millionaire? What?
Food.
We don't produce food here.
We could.
But we don't. I'm not asking what we could do. We don't. Rupert Roberts and the riches that he's actually been able to attain and acquire as not as a result of production from this island.
Okay, fishing.
Who fishing, in this country is millionaires?
Spanish wells.
And that's as a result of export.
Connection.
Export.
Connection.
Import. That's not a local thing. Locally, men are millionaires. How? Okay, let's get back to it. They're millionaires based upon their proximity to when their government is in, and they can get a contract for X amount of dollars.
Or license.
I'm trying to show you something now.
I know what you're saying.
I said that the middle class in this country was never real. It has never been real in this country. It has always been a facade. Fake. That the dependency on the middle class and the buoyancy of the middle class always had to do with it the government was doing well. That ain't real. It ain't never been real.
You trying to say that my middle class Bahamas is not a real place?
Middle class Bahamas is a facade. It's a figment of your imagination. It is as a result of their proximity. When you went off to school, when you went to Harvard or Yale or wherever you went in this world, they only teach you how to make tops $250,000 a year. And in this society, that don't happen.
So I poor then.
All of us are poor. There's only managing people who could manage that better.
So why be poor and wearing Gucci shoes?
The way you get rich is with innovation, with creativity, with something billion people who are in your region can all benefit from.
You know what made me laugh the other day, Howard? Really made me laugh, you know. In 2024, we still got a straw market.
Why are you laughing at that?
Who the hell wants straw in the house?
No,
For
that
rotten
ain't, no,
roach.
no, you looking at it from the wrong way.
I look at it wrong.
Yeah, the straw ain't for you.
The market that we need to be
That
after.
wasn't for you, that's for the tourists.
The tourists ain't want that.
They want that, you can't tell the tourists what they want.
Jesus Christ, man. You want to hear that? Okay, so how many millionaires come to the straw market then?
We don't know.
Since 8 million tourists want your straw. How much friggin' millionaires in the doggone man, they want to cuss you now?
Let me take a telephone call. Go there.
Hello, Howard.
Hey.
Howard, let me just send this radio down. Then I can row you. You invite us to call you.
Turn your radio down and then cuss me. Go ahead, cuss
Let me
me.
turn this radio down first. Let me pick up my religion for a couple of minutes, man.
Put it
I
aside.
was on the phone for 20 minutes, Howard. 20 minutes listening to you. That fellow who texts and talking that foolishness, tell him to call and wait like us. Wait on the phone 20 minutes and see how it feels. You know, loose go. Don't know how tight go feel, you know.
Go ahead.
Okay?
Say what you got to say. I ain't going to fight
Throw
you.
the numbers and they call. And we got here sitting down waiting and you're used to hospitality, man, who know but customer service.
Yes, I do.
Now, if you know better, do better.
I
okay?
should do better.
Now, don't let us happen again.
Oh, appreciate you. I won't, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, Ahmed, how you doing, man?
I'm good,
Merry
man.
Christmas and Happy New Year, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
You're doing a great job, man. You and God, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I want to piggyback on something that you said. You said earlier, and like you talked about when 2000 came in, this same archaic leadership, came into being. The other day, I was listening to MSNBC, and they were, I guess the DNC was having a post-mortem on the election result. And there was a young man in there. I think his last name is Hogg. I don't remember his first name.
H-O-G?
Yeah, H-O-G-G.
Okay.
And he's 24 years old. He's now vying for the vice chair, I think, of the party. And he was being interviewed, and he was saying that he was telling them all the time, because in their post-mortem, they discovered that most of the millennials and all supported Trump. And his reasoning is that, he said that we kept telling them, but they hired these consultants. And these consultants were not listening to the voice of reason. They were not listening to the young people. They were not listening to the young voices. When people were crying out for help with their homes, they can't buy homes, they can't eat, and so on, they, all the consultants were saying, oh, the polls are saying this, and the polls are saying that, and the polls are saying the other thing. And, and I think that is the problem that we have here today, too. We have this archaic leadership, and when young people get into the party, when Perry Christie under the PLP, he had all of those young leaders, Renwood Wells, Dr. Andre Rogers.
The PLP is always getting on young
and
leaders.
These were supposed to be the bridge
And then
You
wash
know?
their hand of them.
They were supposed to be the bridge, but it looked like the bridge break down. Hey,
They
what
blow it
happened
up.
to the bridge?
They blow it up.
That is what we need, some vibrant and some, like JJ always talks about this Moses generation. We need some new blood, some innovative ideas to take this country forward into the next.
But I wouldn't waste my time telling them my ideas, only from right here.
Yeah,
you think I
know
could
what
go
mean?
sit around them and waste my time?
You went and you presented all of your plans and everything because you wasn't. I mean, you may have had the right color because you're high red, but
That's still
you
ain't
just
wake.
wasn't in the mix like that. Even though your ma was an F&M former.
It still ain't wake. None of that wake. None of that wake.
That ain't wake, You just wasn't in the clique.
That's it.
You got to get in the clique. You see, you got to get.
I got to sell my soul. That's what they want me to do.
Yeah,
Wear pom-pom
they want
shorts.
you to sell your
The
soul,
devil is a liar. I will keep it intact.
for 27%, But let them know that if God be for you,
No, who could be against me? Praise
Amen.
Jesus.
Have a good day.
Thank you, man. I do appreciate your telephone call. One of the things that he said, I wanted to be able to bring to the forefront as he started to talk about that. That's how Trump got in.
Yeah.
His son, the little young boy, the one 6'4" or something like that. His son said, "Daddy, you have to go on this podcast, go on this podcast." Over 160 million Caucasians is listened to.
I got you.
Is listened to what's his name on a day-to-day basis. Joe Rogan. Over 160 million. That's half the population of the United States of America listening to Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan bring Trump on indifferent. After he had a conversation with Trump, he supports Trump. Trump win last minute. Boom. Boom.
That's what you call strategy.
But Kamala won't go to your church. The church where it's been having an exodus for the past 20 years, they decided if it worked for Barack, it could work for you. This is what just happened when you bring these old consultants in.
And pay them big money.
You paying these old consultants big money because you trust them. And you still lose. You lose your money, you lose your integrity, you lose your position, you lose everything. And young people saying this is where the young people is. But you ain't want to listen to them. But the PLP is often always listen to young people. And then right after they find themselves in victory, they wash their hand of themselves and wash their hand of the young people entirely from the organization. That doesn't necessarily happen with this administration. I haven't seen it yet. But I have seen some young people who are at the forefront now taking a back seat. Next telephone call. Go ahead.
Howard Grant.
Hey.
Roseboro into the nation.
That's
Now, Howard Grant, I'm not going to waste time like the last caller complaining, but I'm going to get right into my point.
Let me hear it.
I think the scale that you in that room is broken, so I'm going to buy you all a scale for Christmas. Because when you compare the Hubert Alexander Menace era to the Brave Davis era by a smidgen, by a tad bit, you say that Brave is doing better than Hubert Alexander Menace. I think your scale is truly broken because, to compare Brave Davis right now to Hubert Alexander, what we just came out of, I think you were way off.
No. Don't misquote me now. It was the comparison was with the promises that Menace made. Menace promised to incorporate youth. He promised to bring youth in. He identified programs such as the delivery unit and other units to be able to ensure that there was always accountability. He's promised these things, and he's never rolled around to getting them out and up and running functional. The smidgen was we see now Brave being able to build off of those particular promises that were made by the people and incorporating that. So we see youth in this New Day administration. That's the smidgen.
Another thing I would like to speak to is leadership. See, leadership is not made, leadership is born. When you are born, you're born with leadership ability in you. You can't make someone a leader because if they're not a born leader, then they will never be able to do the things that leaders does.
That is true.
Brave Davis is a leader because if you focus on his administration, Brave Davis is not just focusing on PLPs, because PLPs are complaining a lot because of the people that is being helped across the divide. Brave Davis is helping PLPs, F&M, DNA.
Democrats, Republicans.
he has a
my brother
national-
B.
Huh?
I'm listening to you, right?
Yeah, he has a
But we've
national-
never denied him being a philanthropist. Never, ever, ever. You've never heard it from this show. You've not heard it with me on other shows. Never heard it. Where has he led us from 2021 to now in a very profound way that we can surely say that the Bahamas is looking exceptionally well in the region of the Caribbean?
Well, Mr. Roseborough, I don't know what Bahamas you all live in, but I think we are living in a blessed country. In spite of the
We were
issues
always
that
blessed.
we have,
We were
in
always
spite-
blessed.
And in spite of the issues that we have with a handful of, people that is very distasteful, I think the Bahamas is a light that sets on top of a mountain that the world should admire. We run our own nation now because we are not nationalists. We run our own nation now. We call and complain and gripe and grumble. We're just like the children of Israel. We have meat hanging out the two sides of our mouth, complaining.
You tell me what we are, but
I
I'm looking for
appreciate the telephone
leadership.
call. Thank you so very kindly. There's a lot to complain about because we still haven't seen the resolution on and sort of the movement that we need to be able to see. Guys, got to take a quick break. Going to be right back. Going to get to these calls and these text messages after this.
Lines it right up.
Foundation.
The Foundation with Howard Grant will be back right after this.
The foundation.
Transform your home for less at Kelly's House and Homes Holiday Paint Sale, Friday, November 1st through Tuesday, December 24th. Enjoy 25% off house and spray paints plus 20% off paint supplies, excluding net items. Our wide selection of paint colors is the perfect way to bring holiday cheer to your home. You'll also find the best selection of brushes, rollers, and pans, glue, bladders, paint thinner, and more. So catch the holiday spirit and paint up for Christmas at Kelly's House and Homes Holiday Paint Sale.
The Grand Bahama News is available every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian. You can buy your local paper at Freeport Convenience Stores, Western Bakery, DeGregory's Fine Foods, and Bellevue Gifts. Now is the time to reach your Grand Bahama market with affordable packages, including print and digital. Call GB News sales representative Kavandre at 822-6717 or message him on WhatsApp for ad rates. Classified ads are now available every Tuesday as well. Keep up with everything Grand Bahamian every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian.
Great news! Ron's Electric Motors' new location on Cowpen Road, right next to Island Luck, is open Saturdays and Sundays. So for those needing motors, generators, welding machines, water pumps, battery chargers, electric lifts, transformers, and power tools, Ron's Cowpen Road location can have you up and running on weekends. Don't forget, you can still visit Ron's Electric Motors on Wolf Road and Claridge Road, and now Ron's new location on Cowpen Road. Dial 356-0249 or 323-5267.
This is Erin Green, wishing you and your family happiness, peace, and mangoes this holiday season and throughout the new year from Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation.
This is absolutely a decent. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We're here live and in full effect. I just kind of reading these texts as I go through. And I'm going to read a couple of these very quick. It says, the fastest way of becoming a millionaire in the Bahamas is become a politician. Duh. Right? The next one says, how to become a millionaire in the Bahamas? Get into politics and get elected. Simple. Right? And then it says, selling dreams make you a millionaire. That's what gambling is, buying a dream and you're going to be rich. As it takes, this is the last definition of the middle class here in the country has you paying rent and not mortgage. And this is a study guided by one of your fellow talk show hosts, right? There is a straight definition. And it, I guess, can make modifications per region. But for the most part, the middle class is eradicated in this country. And there's kind of a facade. This idea to be able to pull it out, middle class still exists in this country, is not real. It's not real. I don't care how good you look. I don't care how good your pastor tell you look like you're gray again. You don't have it. John Rawls has already told us that y'all ain't got $500 in the bank. You don't have it. Stop it. That the school putting your children out on a term basis, at least twice a term because you ain't pay, so forth and so on. It is not real. There's no consistency here. There's only a hope to find yourself in a better position. One more text before we get out of here, and then I get to the line. This is Brave and Wayne. This is a very indecent text. Brave and Wayne were about to create a few millionaires, but y'all have Pintard calling for a commission of inquiry. Y'all need to stop. And I think that this is a very richly indecent text. Call on the line. Go ahead real quick.
Yeah. Good day, Howard.
Hey, how you doing?
Good day, God.
Hey, my brother.
Leadership, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Lyndon died and then the balls of the PLP gone. Okay? Now, like the school makes 52 say, them fellas look no volley boys, rowdy boys, you know what I mean, political boys or whoever they is. That's their problem because John Canoe is all the groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like it.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, we right here. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, when you talk about middle class and all the classes, right? God,
Mm-hmm.
man, we need to sue the administration for taking our PPL, right? And telling people them if they ain't got $50,000, they ain't want them. Just go find your PPL money and pay your bill. Now, you know that's prejudicial, pejorative, and discriminatory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And BPL belong to all us. I talk in PLP, COI, F&M, and everybody. So if Adrian White, who happened to be a lawyer, I want to see him so he could, move the action against them. Because we complain about the bill and we complain about our position in this country and not having some say, right? That BPL scam was something that none of us should ever accept. We need to bring an action against them. They can't get away. They shouldn't be able to get away with that.
Wow.
Because here they gone and take what OPM sounds.
Now, you're talking about BPL. You know that this was actually in pace prior to this administration being able to come in. You know that they were moving towards making modifications during the last administration with the Free National Movement. You know, even prior to that, they were having problems when you hear Leslie Miller. This is an ongoing thing. This is the proverbial can that's been kicked down the road through successive administrations. And so to levy all of this weight and the burden of tribulation that comes from BPL and our exorbitant bills, I don't think that the PLP should take the full weight of that blow. It's the government of the Bahamas, collectively, not operating in goodwill Bahamas. So that should be very clear. Let me take a next telephone call. Caller, go ahead.
Yes, Howard. God, how you doing? It's Alan Johnson.
Hey, brother.
It's funny that this conversation you had the last half hour is the conversation I've been trying to have for the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Just let me say, they say leadership is created. That's why they say a good leader creates more leaders. And so this concept of you being born a leader has never been proven. It's a good concept, but the environment enhances it. But you talk about the economy, and I'm saying to you, and you've heard me talk about this, Howard, about the different economic revolutions that we in the first hyper-digital connected reality revolution, second digital revolution, third technology revolution, fourth industrial revolution, fifth social revolution, and some people are saying the sixth extension revolution, which I personally believe the sixth innovation cycle will solve the problem of global warming. The problem is, do you know, Howard, that every single one of those revolutions are happening all at once? Never ever in the history of time has it all occurred. More millionaires and billionaires will be made in the next 5 to 10 years than anywhere else.
Globally, but not locally.
No, including the possibility of making up to 1,000 millionaires per year in the Bahamas. This is not theory like, these other people talk about. This is where you as a talk show host and other things have to put these things into the marketplace and test those who say they know. And so let them bring you the how. And that's the conversation that we don't have here. We spend our time looking into the newspaper, having a conversation about yesterday, instead about let's have a conversation of billing. And the same concept you talk about e-gaming and iGaming, that alone, Howard, just check this out. Imagine that I give you access to a digital platform, my e-gaming platform, and you just find 10,000 people to be with you somewhere in the world.
To lose
That's
it.
possible right now.
Yeah, I believe that it is possible, and I want to thank you so much for your telephone call. It is flat out of time. Thank you so much, C. Allen. Thank you so much for all those contributions. Garth, I want to thank you so very kindly. Let me see if I can read this last exercise. I was surprised to see the carnival's in town, considering that we have the PLP Circus and all the rides they are already taking us on, right? Y'all need to stop. There's a text coming through, guys. I want to thank you for that. Tomorrow is Small Business Thursday. We have one slot available. If you want to be able to do something for your Christmas holiday and kind of make some things happen, I'd love to do that with you. 827-0111. 827-0111 tomorrow. My brother, I thank you for being here with us. And we're going to see you again, hopefully one more time before the Christmas holiday.
Yeah, one more time.
One more time before the Christmas holiday, okay?